Welcome back to the Rocket League Oceanic Championship for League Play 3. I am Mysterix, joined with Yummy Cheeseman and Courier Lord, and we're back again to see who can define themselves in our Rocket League League Play.
They've already seen 3 teams go all the way to the top, Chiefs, Legacy, and Darksided, and now we're finding who else is going to join them in today.
Yeah, we've got some strong contenders. OCE has never been this tight before, so I'm very excited to see how everyone ends up falling in the middle of the pack.
What's really interesting is we're hitting the halfway point. We've seen 3 matches for every single one of these teams. Today, they'll be more than halfway through with 4 matches each.
Defining themselves with a $25,000 US prize pool on the line, and teams like Legacy, Chiefs, Darksided, they're sitting strong at the moment.
And those 3 teams, they're looking to get that 3 places, about 18, about 16 grand between those 3.
But not only that, RLCS is on the line, and with teams being closer than ever, I'm not surprised at the way the standings are so damn tight at the moment.
I mean, we have teams that have been overseas before. We have Tainted Minds that want to go back. We have the old Jam roster on the dark side that want to go back. And Chiefs, if they don't, they'll be sad.
There's some prizes down there. As you said, Jam Gaming and Tainted Minds, they're on 1 and 2. Legs Are Silly also took a win over Retirement Home last week.
And that's why this week is so damn important, considering we have 1 series each for each team. This could be the definition between maybe losing out in that 7th and 8th position in the long run, or maybe cementing yourself up in that top 2.
I mean, it's kind of a good thing to lose out on coming 7th or 8th, but it's so important. Every 2 places matter. 1st and 2nd means so much more than 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, and then especially 5th and 6th being the single most important ones to get above, because if you don't get in that top 6, you're out.
A big day for Jam Gaming and Lovedex. We're going to kick right into Overdrive. Match 1 between these 2 teams. This is one of those definitions where they could see themselves in the bottom if they don't perform.
The match of the day there as well, Chiefs versus Legacy, up later.
I think this one's really important for me, though, Jam versus Lovedex, because if Lovedex do manage to get this win, it may be the decider that knocks Jam out of the entire tournament.
Kick off that timer, Jam Gaming and Lovedex. However, I know you're about to say something, Yummy, but I want to start with Lovedex, because Lovedex, the all-New Zealand team, they've started to improve over League Play.
They've really struggled, I think, to find their play style. In the OC Open series, they're really aggressive. Now they've gone all the way back, and they need to find some kind of middle ground.
Yeah, they definitely need to find some middle ground. They're having some struggle with the passes as well. Adzi has 1 assisted pass the entire series. 1 out of like 13 games.
To me, that's a great sign, though, because as soon as they find that style, as soon as they are able to be really creative on attack like they were before, they will end up stepping up in that play.
A team like Lovedex, there is a strength there, but I think, as you were mentioning before, Adzi, I've seen this sign of life that I never saw in the OC Open series.
Well, with CJM stepping back, he's had so much more opportunity to get those huge redirects he's great at.
Yeah, we saw him against Chiefs. I think that was his best showing when he managed to single-handedly take that game off them. And that was Chiefs on form, so that's a huge deal.
I think it was the best showing from Lovedex that we've seen so far. To get so close to the Chiefs, we want to see more of that Lovedex. But on the side of Jam Gaming, a bit topsy-turvy as well.
They took down Tainted Minds in week 1, and we thought that maybe they could cause some huge upsets against those top teams. Darksided especially thought that they could get that win. But now they're in a position where they can face someone that is more likely at their level.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because both teams have actually only versed players and teams in the top 3. I think Bango's definitely a man to watch, with Walcott backing him as well. Both of them have amazing shot percentages, Bango being top of the league and Walcott very comfortably near there as well.
I really love how Walcott stepped up this season. Yeah. He's really gone from the rookie last season that felt uncomfortable, was very aggressive, but now he's great all over the pitch.
That's what happens when you go from a roster like Conspiracy, where Walcott stood out, but here he still stands out in a more fluent way.
The fact that he's standing out in such a great team is real testament to how much he's improved.
Yeah, it's a great deal. He's no longer, in my mind, the rookie that was carrying Conspiracy. He's now one of the guys that is inside the Pro League.
There's been a lot of positive comments on this end of the table about Jam Gaming. So, Courier, with that in mind, how do your predictions fare up?
I think I'm going to go with Jam. I think they're in a good place right now, and it's their opportunity to take the win. I mean, they have Bango. He's insane. He's got like the highest passes, some of the highest goals, and 84% participation.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like Lovedex have been spending a lot of this season trying to catch up, and they've had the advantage of going up against some top teams and going close, but I'm still a believer in the fact that they'll have improved enough, they'll find their play style, and that they'll take down Jam.
So Lovedex is an interesting prediction, because I personally think that Jam, having taken down Tainted Minds, still look like the overall stronger team. So I'm going to stay with Jam. I'm going to stay with Walcott, as I usually do, and I'm a firm believer that Jam will come out of the gates rolling.
I think that they will. We've seen huge efforts from Bango as well as one of the top aggressors of the season.
Yeah, that guy's a fiend. Like, the number of shots he's putting out, and it's the fact he can maintain that, like, 44% hit rate is disgusting. Especially when you look at the teams they're versing. If you're versing the top 3 teams and landing those, that's,
Very difficult to 3 OTM.
I mean, we gave him our first MVP. Bango is the man that came out of the gates rolling. And now in the only series of the day for both Jam and Lovedex, we begin Game 1.
These are the two teams that could be climbing all the way to the top, but whoever loses is facing maybe a 7th or 8th position at the end of the ladder.
Both need to win. CGM has been demoed off to a cracker of a start, and not a bit of a banger, but launched into the backside of that backboard. And Jam Gaming, they kick things off. Bango's launched it right on top of that net. Deca hanging back, but good positioning here. Lovedex on the defensive, finally getting the clear. Monty Connor shadowing that ball, and only 30 seconds have passed, but Jam Gaming, they look like a very strong roster from the get-go.
CJM is holding back. He's that 3rd man now, which is a surprise considering he used to be so aggressive and so good on those walls and roof attacks.
Monty Connor passing it over. Adzi, the man, forward he goes, and getting over the ball once again. CGM is going to have to defend this backboard, gets a really nice touch as it sends over to Walcott. Walcott will be knocked out of the way as he passes it downfield. Decker's here. Only minutes pass, but Decker, he might have found a pass through. Monty Connor, he's on the solo defense, gets bumped away. Another member coming in, this is Bango, but it's left the Lovedex.
That was a tricky defense. All 3 were desperate to get that one out, and they just came through in the end.
Well, Decker saves that one away. A close call as the counterattack from Lovedex. And the ball getting sped up just that little bit. Bango now dribbling, pops it over one, not through Adzi, who gets the better of it. Walcott wins it out as well. It's still over to Jam Gaming, hits that side wall, and CJM, as he launches it all the way upfield, he's going to keep the defense solid all the way back to Walcott. 3 minutes 30, Walcott coming in off the side. It's passed away, finding the footing in Game 1.
You can really see the difference between these two teams. Lovedex are looking to hit this ball to each other every single time as a team, where Jam Gaming are going for a lot of solo plays. So for Jam Gaming to score, it's going to need to be a big goal.
It's so intuitive of Walcott. Great pass over to Decker. Over to the right wing, sorry, left wing, I beg your pardon. It's going to come back in, and Decker, losing the ball, now gives a bit of pressure to build up for Lovedex, but still staying in this side of the field. Jam Gaming getting the better touches, winning these challenges, and so far so good.
Jam Gaming have had most of the possession, most of the attack so far, and it just seems so difficult for Lovedex because they're getting those passes, but they're not hitting each other with them.
Looks like there's a breakaway just yet. Monty Connor, as you said, it's just gone right back to Jam Gaming to find that hole in the defense. That's their next goal. Bango, up he goes again. It's still center field, and Decker hanging back. Gotta look for that clear to be the response. Slow around the ball, now finds it. Here's CJM, will get a light touch, but this should be followed up, and a big banger coming through from Walcott. That's blocked by Lovedex.
Even Decker stepping up, the rookie of the team, getting that brilliant air dribble, just shows he's able to set so much pressure for Jam Gaming.
The build-up of this player has been so complete over the past 3 league plays. And
he's really stepped up.
And now for Lovedex, a team that has been on the back foot ever since losing to Chiefs, and only just. Jam Gaming are really taking it to them, and it could be another situation. But first, we have to get through Game 1. Good pass, CJM. There's the first shot, and Lovedex get the pressure.
Brilliant infield pass, and CJM is going to finish that one off. Adzi stepping up, and it's good to see CJM there on attack, ready to just beat out the opponents.
They're in defense the whole game. Suddenly, Lovedex break away, and they score the first goal of the game. And it just shows you that Lovedex, they held out in defense, and they were able to respond so quickly.
That's some of that creative attack, the unpredictability we're talking about, but Walcott immediately turning that around off the kickoff.
And what a pass that was from Jam Gaming, right on the front foot once again, and Bango, again, that was solid.
Just finding the angle, CJM couldn't get the challenge off in time as you just collected that boost, and immediately one play makes the difference.
1-1, 145. Game 1 so important, but it's just bounced off that ramp, and yeah, Decker rotates back. Walcott now doesn't have possession. It's past 2 defenders. Adzi trying to get the bump out on Bango, but will not succeed. Still off that backboard, should relinquish a little bit of pressure if Jam can get back to it, but it's gone over the top, and this is open for Monty.
And all of that was off the kickoff. It was just pressure, 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 and Jam Gaming was struggling to just get a clear that entire time. Lovedex, 20 seconds later, it just shows how useful kickoffs are.
Lovedex say Game 1 is mine, mine, mine. A 1-goal lead, 1 minute 30 left on the board, and getting these big plays For Lovedex, it seems to be working out now on the defense once again, but it's when they get these big clears that they can work with.
We've seen as well, Monty Connor and CJM have been great in those solo defenses when those dribbles are coming out. So Jam Gaming need to start taking this ball high.
So CJM just pinched it off that side post there and got it the heck out of the half. 1 minute, 5 seconds, CJM off the wall. Now back over to Decker. Decker has the shot. It's not cleared away.
And a beautiful bump out from Bango. The net was completely opened up as we just get the shot out from Decker, and that is a true bang as well.
Like you said, the bump onto Adzi, and it was good thinking. It was proactive thinking from Jam Gaming.
Very smart from Jam, and I think that really complements their style where they are going for those solo plays to take out the opponents, makes those dribbles, those big shots much easier.
Such an important series for both of these teams. A minute remaining, and Lovedex, just as Jam, will not give up willingly. Game one now, the pressure's on. Walcott in the defense gets the demolition, so without Adzi in the fight should be okay, but Bango, he's recovered by Decker. The pass now upfield to Walcott, works out. Adzi's going to knock it all the way up. Bango's coming in as well. One of the highest scoring, highest stats, really, in OCE Championship so far. Adzi now on the aggressive, but lose the ball.
It's really good to see Bango take a step back as well. I think with all the work that he's been putting in, he wants to get involved in every play. Now that he's taking a step back, we're really seeing a lot more out of Decker.
Pass over, goes to CJM, tries to lock it in, and after he runs after the ball, Adzi brings it to a standstill with Walcott. 10 seconds remaining on the attacker. Lovedex, big clear by Decker, however, and now the pressure is just going to build up from Jam Gaming. They bring it all the way back, and Walcott doesn't get the first touch, but it's still around the corner as the ball bounces down, and we have our overtime.
This is already close, and this is exactly what we expected. These two teams sitting at roughly 5th, 6th seed, and both looking to get into that top two.
This rebound off the wall, however, brings it right in front of net, and Lovedex, when they're under pressure, sometimes it can build up a little bit too harshly for them. Adzi over the top of the ball. Bango was there. Walcott now centering it, but still over to CJM. Gets it taken away, and Jam Gaming still winning the majority of these challenges. The ball gets centered. Decker, there we go, Bango, but it's too far over.
Very quick 1, 2, 3 from Jam Gaming, and playing fast is putting Lovedex in a difficult position. That should have been in, but Decker hits the post.
And now it hits a crossbar, brings it all the way back. No boost on the side of Lovedex, however, so it means that Jam Gaming can take their time with this ball. The pass, the 1-2, bumped out of the way. How do you do? 45 seconds into overtime, and looks like it'll be cleared away, but Bango off the side. The second touch was coming through. It's still standing in front of net. Kept for a while, minute into overtime.
While neither of these teams are going to be taking any risk, I think if Lovedex gets scored on, it's because they're going to go over-committing on attack. They're really creative, but they commit hard to getting goals.
It's one goal game. That's what it's going to be at this stage. Decker, bumped out of the way. Bango's here. Minute 15. It's going to get sent across field, but well reacted to. Bango now has a bit of time, but interrupted by Montecano, going right in front of net, the solo play. He hasn't had the best couple of weeks, but he's definitely switching on in game one.
Yeah, it's important that he hasn't really had any big misses or big mistakes that led it into goals. Now he just needs to step up and get a few of those big solo goals we know he can make.
Montecano, he wins out the defense. It goes over to CJM, and I definitely agree with that one. Monty Connor, the person to watch really in this series. How he performs maybe for Lovedex. The center's there. Adzi was coming to clean it up. Monty Connor, now the angle's right, and he's back into the swing.
A beautiful attack from Lovedex all the way up on the roof from CJM, and it was Adzi's second touch that put this ball in a spot for Monty Connor, who is on strike.
Game one, Lovedex. They start off with a banger of a win. Here we go.
That was huge, and Monty Connor stepped up. That's not just great for the team, but also for their mentality, that he got that big goal, because in the last couple of weeks, he was hitting the post a lot. That gets really frustrating, and now if he's on, that's what it's going to take for Lovedex to not just beat Jam Gaming, but to climb all the way up.
And from the small chats I've had with Monty Connor in the past, I know he can get it in his own head like any Rocket League player. And it's great to see him this week actually stepping back and doing what he needs for the team rather than maybe himself.
I think he's really stepping up forward. I mean, he's not doing what he needs to do for the team. He's just playing well, and that is a huge step up from him. And CJM and Adzi, they're working around it as well. They're not playing greedily. They're still trusting him, and that also makes a big difference.
Well, how do you keep this consistency for Lovedex, though? Because we've seen this in the past. They hold a strong game one, And then after that, does it turn? Do we go to a Game 4 loss for Love Decks?
They definitely seem like a team that are lacking sort of mental consistency and fortitude, because by the time they get to the end of the series, they end up getting hugely swept. We get 5-0 in their last game when they were competing really closely early in the series. So for them to be more consistent is just about trusting each other. If a mistake happens, they need to continue going strong and trusting in their teammates.
Because they are getting beaten out to the ball, and 9 times out of 10 when Love Decks find this attack, right?
They're getting beaten to the ball by Jam Gaming even, but it doesn't matter because they have a third man back waiting for that play. That is where their defensive style has come in, but they're adding a bit more attack this week.
Precise, concise, and that's what they're going to have to see in Game 2. Love Decks on the attack, it's cleared away. And now for Love Decks, it's a big moment to bring them back into a better contention for the OCE Championship. The bump, it was actually faked, and Bango gets the first.
It didn't matter that he hit it. He went for it. It forced the defender to make a play, and that was what set up this goal. Bango able to just sneak it over the top of CJM.
Decker goes over the top. First goal for Jam Gaming, 20 seconds in.
If CJM jumped up, he would have got Goomba stomped.
Well, that's right. It would have been a bit of a pipeline in the dreams. Love Decks. After getting pressured, that was the shot. Monty Connor. Wouldn't say that's a miss, but that's some good pressure added.
It's some really clever play from Love Decks, and you're seeing every single attack, they're doing something different. That's what makes them strong in attack. They're hard to read because they have such a wide repertoire.
But on defense now, Bango brings it back over, and for Love Decks, they're getting pressured once again. Adzi blocking the ball means a clear that gets sent over to Decker. He passes upfield, but there's no one there to respond. Almost an open net as CGM comes climbing through the grapevine, and Decker waiting back. Walcott, that's him. Monty Connor over the side. Crowd is behind Jam Gaming. I know you guys, 64%, that's crazy. And with openings like this, as you should be, first goal still remains, and the pressure being added, the passing play interrupted. CJM over to Monty Connor, should be an open net. He needs to clean it. It's bouncing, but it's not sent in.
It was a smart play by Monty Connor with that one defender left. He tries to the 50-50 knowing that his teammates are backing up, but it didn't quite go in the right direction.
Skill level is so damn close in this series, and you can see CGM steals the ball away. It's just Decker, but it goes through.
Decker, he went for the play over the top, but CJM predicts him perfectly and gets the dunk into the net.
A clean start for Jam Gaming, but cleanly reacted to by Love Decks. 3 minutes 30. And a response that cannot be trifled with. Love Decks are back into contention.
Love Decks have really stepped up, and CJM, it's good to see him heavily involved in the attack. That's what he's good at, reading what the opponents are going to do.
But Bango looks for the double tap. It now needs to be cleaned up. Unfortunately, that was the right time, the right place. And Love Decks again, they're pushing onto that attack. Decker's here, and a bit of bouncy with the ball. They cannot find an angle into that net. Stolen away by Walcott. Again, Jam winning those challenges, but the demolition should apply pressure from Love Decks. As he comes through the roof, Decker will hit it up. It's going to bounce in front of net. Monty Connor wins it over. The setup for CJM to down it through.
They know where they're going to touch it because Jam Gaming are still looking for those solo plays. They need to start looking for passes and get it around the Love Decks players.
Like Mama's Stew, this is looking good. Adzi now coming in off the wall. 2 minutes 40 remaining, 1-1. The center's here. Bango, sorry, that's Decker. In fact, Bango, he's waiting midfield, waiting to come up. Walcott, he's up for the ball. It hits at a strange angle as he gets bumped away. Bango now centering the ball. Decker's waiting back, and Love Decks is starting to get a lot more of these blocks, a lot more of these clears.
And they're able to get it 1-2 across to each other. Adzi missing that pass, but that's how they're getting this ball out when they were caught under pressure so much in game one.
2 minutes 15 remaining, and Jam Gaming under so much pressure themselves now. Things not looking as clean as maybe they'd expected. The pinch to the corner, back around. CGM dribbling with the ball. This is Decker onto the defense. Bango's here as well. The angle interesting, but not precise. And on top, concise is what we need. And instead, we see it in multiple numbers for Love Decks. The ball cleared away. It's in front of net. CJM has enough boost to just send it over to Monty Connor.
Brilliant recovery from CJM. He made that save. He sent it high, gave himself just enough time to land, and then get up to the next ball really fast.
The individual play that we've expected from him now for a couple of weeks. And
on defense to say.
Yeah. CGM clean. Now, to push the ball away. Love Decks under pressure again. Bango's here with the angle, but Adzi, he's reached up this time as well in the rotations. Getting even better from Love Decks. CGM, he's now pushed up. The pass is to Monty Connor.
That was crisps. That was beautiful. Look at this pass straight to Monty Connor. And most importantly, he finds this angle once again. The striking from Monty Connor has stepped up from last week.
That was beautiful. That was the Love Decks that we saw go hard against the Chiefs. And that created some kind of energy in the room. 1 minute 15, 1 goal up for the New Zealand squad.
And Jam Gaming, they have to find each other. They're not getting by, just getting these big dribble plays. No matter how good you are at that solo play, it's hard to get through a solid defense.
Now, CJM trying to bring the ball up. Walcott, they do manage to counterattack quite well on Jam Gaming, but not able to find penetrating through that defense means that Decker, he's by himself. The ball snuck by Monty Connor. The aggression from this hairy New Zealander will not stop.
You can say that Walcott is smart, and even though they're in a hairy situation, it's not going to get too shaggy.
Looks like a clean shave necessary for Jam Gaming because they're still 1 goal down, and Love Decks, they're playing with their food at this point in the game. Demolition will not matter. Monty Connor's already taken the ball up, pinches it out onto the side, and Bango, although he does get some kind of clear, this is the opportunity. CJM waiting in net, and there was no follow-up from Jam Gaming.
You can really see they're holding one person back, trying to just keep this lead, and it's working out for them time and time again.
10 seconds. Love Decks still defense there. CJM saved by Monty Connor, who's having an absolute ripper of a series, but the pass from Walcott blocked away by CJM, and he will not miss it this time.
That's just enough, and it might be hitting the ground. That's Love Decks taking out game number 2, and they're suddenly in a situation where they're 1 step away from sweeping Jam.
A 3-0 against Jam could mean so much for Love Decks here, and you might be sitting at home saying, hysterics, it's League Play 3. We're not even at the end yet. But mate, Doofus, we are at the point in League Play where we're on to 1 series and every series counts. Love Decks, as you said, 1 step away.
Every single series counts, every single game counts as well. Just getting this series means that they only need to beat a couple more teams and they're at least in the top 6 guaranteed, and maybe even in the top 4 if they can get 3-4 wins out of the rest of League Play.
But for Jam Gaming, I know they were confident maybe going into this matchup because Jam have had a really hard week. They've versed the best teams in League Play. And now against Love Decks, they should be sitting there saying, this is a matchup we should win. But what's happening?
What the interesting consequences as well is that for Jam Gaming, there's kind of less on the line because they already have that win against Tainted Minds. So if they lose, they still have plenty of chances to go forward. Of course, losing to Love Decks, especially a 3-0, is not where you want to go towards the finals. But for Love Decks, if they lose, they're almost out and at least out of the top 4.
But for Jam, they need this so badly. So the reverse sweep, the chance begins. But the way Love Decks are playing is so clean. They've stepped up. I fear that Jam may be going home empty-handed.
They've found that middle ground as well. What I've liked seeing is that they have that wide creative attack that's getting them their goals, and before we weren't seeing that in the first 2 weeks.
Well, Love Decks, they're going to try and do that again in game 3, and here we go. Onto the wide, Monty Connor's here and tries to punch the ball, and it pitches over the side. This is going to go into the middle. Walcott, the demolition onto Decker, won't mean too much, but Jam Gaming, they still succeed.
Jam Gaming, they need to find a change-up. They need to adapt. You cannot stay with the same playstyle. It's not working against Love Decks. So if they can change up, they might be able to win.
But Monty Connor is always so far forward. Adzi now onto the defense. CJM here as well. Leaves it for Monty, who, again, I will be talking up throughout this series. And as it progresses, Bango now punching it forward. I think Adzi and CJM may have run into each other. The demolition onto Monty Connor. Big moment as Jam Gaming. They've found it, and it's Walcott.
Oh no, CJM. He could have gone up for that, but it went over the top. Did not see this bounce coming from Decker off the wall, and Walcott was in perfect position to take advantage.
And that's how Jam Gaming are going to come back into this series. 1-0. Hold it, Jam, for you will be successful, and you will take us to a game 4.
They got the first goal last game, and Love Decks were able to bring it back, so they need 1 more. They can't win with just a 1-goal lead.
Bango taking it himself all the way through center field. CJM gets it over the side. Now
That's
touches it
shot.
a second time. It's a good one, but it's a little bit too far, but Maybe Monty Connor can do something about this. He's still in the middle of that net. He punches it, a great pass, but CJM wasn't there.
You can tell how great that pass was, that even his teammates didn't expect that he was going to get such a good touch.
And look how fast Jam are playing. They've just picked up the boost. They've now driven forward. And Lovedex on the defense. Decker, Bango, that was them. Walcott, this is him. He's waiting in the center field, and CJM's going to try and take the ball. It's a pass. Goes over to Adzi. It's punch. CJM. Close call.
The goals
Bango.
from Jam are going to come all from pressure, just from getting that ball high and draining Lovedex of boost. So if they can keep Lovedex on defense for a while, that'll be great, but Adzi just sneaking that one in off the crossbar.
What a pass from Monty Connor. Watch this one again, Yummy. Just a light tap, and Adzi says thanks.
He knows exactly where his teammates are. It's showing his experience. He's been on top teams for the longest time, and now he's trying to rebuild himself. He's doing well.
Now, backstage, I may have said that Monty Connor, he didn't have the best stats, and that, that's fact.
You definitely said that, and we all agree with you.
Well, look.
He does actually have the lowest stats in league play
but after today,
so far.
Maybe not. Maybe not. There is a lot of progression from this Lovedex squad. I think Monty Connor getting a lot of stats on those boards, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Monty Connor, he's now missed the ball and it's gone past. As I was talking about, Bango takes the solo. Decker's here as well. A light dribble. It's passed back. Walcott not angled in correctly. A good block from Lovedex.
That could have been a big touch. They could have been a pass, but Decker instead looking for the dribble. There's more opportunities coming for Jam Gaming, but they're not quite finishing them off.
CJM went under that ball. Monty Connor is going to clean it with the help of Jam Gaming all the way back over here, all the way back over there. Walcott now punching it all the way back over here. Over to Decker, who goes over the top of the ball, and now Adzi, he's cleared it away. Bye-bye, net.
Snuck out of the blind spot all the way down, and what a punch through from Adzi. And of course, it's off Monty Connor's pass.
And that had to be a clean shot from Lovedex, because they are playing clean Rocket League. And if I've ever seen a cheeky breaky team in Game 3, I'm definitely seeing it from Lovedex.
If they can keep up this pace, this team...
Like that! Lovedex again, the third goal comes through, and this is just Jam Gaming. They're crumbling under this pressure.
That's another kickoff goal for Lovedex. Just all the way down. Bango is going for that side boost, and CJM just powered it through.
All right, at this stage at 2:15, you have to start questioning what Jam Gaming are going to do, because this is their only series this week. And they might think they're okay because they beat Tatum Mines, but they have to beat Lovedex. Control again coming through. This one hits the side post, and Jam Gaming are definitely playing with fire. Maybe Adzi is too. The second shot comes through.
All off that huge EU clear. It puts so much pressure on, and it might just finish off. But again, the side post coming into effect, as now Jam Gaming are all low on boost.
Sweeps across once more. Bango, light touch will be for CJM. He still wins it over, and Monty Connor, he's coming in, wants to bring it all the way back against Bango, against the old teammate. He does not care. Adzi will swipe it in, and like a credit card, all the funds are gone from Jam Gaming. A minute 30 remaining, and Lovedex seem to be holding off.
It's good to see Bango step up in defense there. He was the only one with boost left and was able to get a clear, but they didn't have any boost to follow up and cause an attack.
At this stage, another big clear, and Jam Gaming have to be careful where they're rotating. It'll bring it back to Bango, the 1-2, the 3, the how do you do not even included in this one. Adzi will clear it away. CJM, he waits back. This is going to be the passing play for Lovedex to secure the win. If they can get this next goal, it should all be over for Jam.
It's up to CJM for the 1v2 defense. He ends up getting beaten out, and Decker steals the goal.
A nice tap from the Jam Gaming offense, and maybe Jam, they've got what it takes. 55 seconds, definitely doable. Yeah, nice steal.
Real clever from Decker as well. For that original pass, to get that past the defender, they recognized that they were in the advantage, and they took it.
One breakaway, that's all it took for Jam Gaming. 55 seconds. Clear, over to Bango, now popping it up. It's in front of net, another opportunity arises, but as soon as the briefcase closes, another one opens. Walcott will get another big shot, but CJM's cleared it. Bango has to respond. That clear will be so high and mighty, even Jesus couldn't touch it on Easter Sunday. Bango's here, but he locks another one in.
Sneaking it past, he just gets around that ball and flicks it through the left-hand side of the net. Brilliant play, and the first touch coming out from Walcott to get that past the defenders. Lovedex all of a sudden feeling the heat.
And Jam Gaming all of a sudden are spreading the jam at 30 seconds remaining. This is the potential for Jam to run away. This is potential for overtime to join us once again. 25 seconds. Adzi now slow with the ball. Walcott brings it back to CJM, who will not get out of net. The demolition on Decker should slow things down, but Walcott happy to remain in the midfield. Monticona getting the ball away.
Bango can be such a pain with those 50-50s. He was the one who kept that ball in the attack. You're going to have one more chance to get a shot and win the game before regulation time ends.
Works out to be a pretty good pass if Jam can utilize it. Monticona, he's able to bring the ball back. It's in front of backboard for Lovedex to silence the game at 3-0. It's not going to come in just yet. So we go into overtime again.
You can see the difference between old CJM and new CJM, because normally he would have gone for that attack. This time he went all the way back to defense to cover the net.
Lovedex are feeling a little bit insecure in game 3. Jam Gaming was so far behind, yet here we are. Decker brings the ball. It's good for Bango. The pass into Walcott. The angle is right.
This is the start of the reverse sweep. Walcott with the 1-2 all the way across. And beautiful. The passes are stepping up for Jam. And that's what's beating out the Lovedex defense.
Maybe they like being behind, Yummy. Maybe they like being in a position of 2-0
Against
down.
Dated Minds, they were 3-0. They just took it all out. I think that's the better strategy there. But
yeah.
Jam Gaming have stepped it up. They were 3-1 down, and they brought back 3 goals in a row.
So for Lovedex, the pressure now applies. It builds up, and so many shots from Lovedex, but Jam Gaming then managed to turn it around.
What's important is the fact that they're getting those passes means that their solo plays are also more successful. Their dribbles are being effective in terms of leading towards goals.
Yeah.
But before, because that was the only thing that they were doing, Lovedex were able to read what was happening.
And for Lovedex now, how do you read Jam that have obviously stepped up the tempo a little bit and are getting, I guess, more creative with the ball?
It's very difficult. They're going to have to adapt themselves, and they're going to have to really step it up. But it's their defense, I think, that's really letting them down. They weren't able to get those clears later on, and they went too far back. It's what we saw of their play style on previous weeks, where they were going really defensive, letting too many shots on net and not challenging them, and it's really difficult to save.
So if they're too far back, obviously they need to come a lot more forward, and then when they're there, start putting the pressure in, because right now, and I'm not going, CJ.
He's making fun of my hand gestures.
No. I have my own little hand gestures, and like Jam Gaming, they're gesturing towards a reverse sweep. If you're Jam right now, if you're a fan, you'll be saying, this is doable. This is definitely doable.
It's very durable, but it's been so close. It's still going to be really nerve-wracking for Jam Gaming, who don't have another chance under their belt.
They've punished the ball already, and they're back into this side of the field, stealing it away. Decker getting aggressive. We talked about him as a rookie. We said in the OCE Open Series, this guy, he's looking to prove himself. Well, he's done that multiple times, and he wants to take it a step further. CGM, a light
in
touch.
the OCE Open Series, he wasn't playing at the top standard, and Adzi has been playing top standard this season. Just a beautiful goal coming out from CGM to put that pressure on in the first place.
Talking about Decker, he didn't get the full clear, and it was a light touch just up to Adzi.
Yeah, Decker needed to be able to touch that a bit harder, and it's a little bit of the rookie nerves, I think, coming through.
Especially since Jam Gaming, they're now staring down the barrel of a reverse sweep, and it's realistic as all hell, but Lovedex still strong. CJM, he's trying to punish the ball, send it through, and Adzi is continuing to corrupt the ball with his influence, and he brings it again, he has a shot, and this time Decker does block it out.
Adzi, what a demon in attack there, getting a whole lot of plays all the way through, and Adzi again looking to put the shot on.
Monticona, he's got the backball, the double touch, the Devo as we used to call it, doesn't apply.
Adzi, he's the one to score the goal, but it's off a brilliant play from Monticona to pass that one down. It didn't need to go in because it was enough to cause confusion from the defenders below.
And this looks just like Christchurch, a beautiful place, lots of mountains. I am talking about Queenstown because I don't know New Zealand well, but 4 minutes 10, and Lovedex, they've decided to shatter expectations of mine personally because they're looking strong once again.
It's not all mountains. There are castles and towers, Barradurs there, I heard.
Barradurs? Oh, okay.
Barradur.
Is that a
It's a Lord of the Rings reference,
Nice.
I'm sorry.
I kind of got it. The center's there for Razzie. And I did, our producer just yelled at us for that Lord of the Rings reference. However, 3:45, Lovedex continuing to put this pressure on, and have a little look at where Adzi is. He has been the goal scorer in a lot of these games, and has been able to push up with the ball. Bango will try and get the clear away. Sends it back down. Decker waiting back, and Jam not really stepping on any toes just yet. We'll meet with Adzi. Bango's back in, hits the roof, and it's not really the best touch for Jam Gaming.
Jam Gaming need to find something. They're 2 goals behind, and Lovedex are so experienced that they know how to stay ahead as long as they keep aggressive.
Decker over the top, and Lovedex, that aggression, it's being applied once again here, Yummy. Off the corner, Monty Connor, he pops it up. Now watch for Adzi. It's CJM. He actually came up for the ball, and the rotation comes back swift.
There's a potential for Jam Gaming to make the comeback once again. They took 3 goals last game. Can they do it again?
Over the side now, off the back wall. Adzi comes out of net. Monty Connor brings it around the corner. Decker's here in front of net, holding that 2-0 advantage. Adzi hanging all the way back. Monty Connor now off the wall. Centers it. This is an opportunity. It gets cleared away. Walcott, that was him, but Adzi now punches the ball. No backboard defense whatsoever. It's going to drop in front of net again, and Walcott will manage to retain possession.
Good work, Adzi. Just getting that one touch. He recognized that all of the Jam Gaming players were looking to intercept a pass and got it behind them.
I don't know English too well. It's going to be a time of learning for both me and Jam Gaming. 2 minutes 10. Adzi down center field. Bango now rebounding it off the wall. Walcott's there, but stolen away by CJM. Decker will respond, and back and forth. Another game of pinball. The crowd is saying 2 minutes. Over to the side. Who's it to? It's Monty Connor. And the ball will be missed by Bango. Now Monty Connor goes for the solo, pops it there. No one in front of net. Walcott manages to get it away.
Almost paddled in again by Monty Connor. He's been stepping up. He hasn't made a single mistake so far this game that I've seen. And that's causing the difference between a 2-0 and the 4-3 we saw last game.
This is a big touch by Walcott. This is actually good for Lovedex, and that's a goal that would make Babushka proud.
Monty Connor, he's stepping up. He's gone to Russia, made his grandma proud, apparently. And that is 3-0 for Lovedex in the final game. Normally, Lovedex are the one going down in this style.
And normally Lovedex are the ones that may crumble under the pressure.
They've learned from their opponents.
They've learned from their mistakes. Lovedex at 1 minute 30. They're 3-0 up. Jam Gaming did not see this coming. Walcott has an opportunity, but it's shut down time and time again. Decker comes in, and there's just no rest for the wicked as Monty Connor brings himself back up. CJM says, let's go party, Barbie. Over the side, CJM will not find the second touch. And Jam, although they get the clear, this is a big score to come back from.
Jam Gaming were haunted by that missed shot earlier on, and now they need to get one in the next couple of seconds because they only have a 1 minute to tie up the game.
And at this point, it feels like that's going to be all for Jam Gaming, folks, and an opportunity keeps coming up for Lovedex to score. They may not find it, but they're keeping it down this side of the field, and for Lovedex, this is such a big win. This is a moment where they can say, we took down Jam Gaming, we can continue to rise.
This is the start of their run because they always felt like they were catching up against those top teams, but they didn't have enough time to find their play style, to find their strides, and now their strides are good 2 feet long at this point, and they have a chance to get into that top 6, get into the regional playoffs, and maybe take it again to those top teams.
I think Lovedex will be so happy with their performance today. We've seen growth, we've seen expectations met for 2 of our analysts here at Throwdown, and that's going to be all she wrote. Jam Gaming, an upset for them, but for Lovedex, growth, performance, a victory as the last goal will be scored.
Isn't it insane how the 2 analysts were correct?
It's crazy. It's like as if what I said was not biased at all by Walcott. You know, every time I sit down with Jam, I say, what makes them a great team? And I think their intuition and their improvisation on the fly can sometimes impress me, but this time...
That really felt like what was their weakness. They didn't have improvisation this game. It was all about those solo plays. And the one game that they won, game number 3, was all because they got those great passes. They found some perfect infields that got around the Lovedex defense.
What a play of the series, really, from Lovedex. I think this is a stepping stone for Lovedex. They move up. They continue to impress us. Impress me, really. And expectations have been thrown.
Really important that Monty Connor and Adzi stepped up. And also CJM, he always felt really uncomfortable in defense, but now he's getting forward off the defense and having an effect on the attack as well.
Yeah, last week I was really worried. When CJM started moving backwards, I'm like, he's one of the most powerful offensive players in the entire league. I don't know what you're doing, but it's paid dividends. Like, the rest of his team stepped up. Monty Connor's coming out. Adzi's becoming that carry that he said he could be. Now it's well-rounded, and it's just slaying.
Yeah, last week as well, CJM had almost no shots, and he's gone like triple the amount of shots he had this week. And Jam Gaming, they just didn't feel like they had anything for Love Decks.
Yeah, so when I was watching through the actual gameplay, what I did notice is that there was a lot of times it was Bango doing the solo plays when his team wasn't feeling confident, but when they got confident and came forward, that's when they started to shine. Because Bango would drop back, and Decker and Walcott could do these beautiful plays that we saw in Game 3, but as soon as it started to fall apart, Bango would get really aggressive, panicking that his teammates weren't there, would pressure them, they'd freak out, become indecisive, and then miss the chances to jump up.
It really felt like Jam Gaming were crumbling a bit on defense as well.
I think it is a moment to reflect still on Love Decks and how Monty Connor came through. And this is the part where we look at our contender for our MVP for Omen by HP. And of course, I would be personally putting forward Monty Connor for a successful week.
I think he definitely stepped up. He might not have been so powerful, but the fact that he was really good compared to last week, I would agree.
Yeah, best relative growth for sure. His stats were great that game, and then coming off last week where he had not a great showing at all, but it's pivotal. I don't think without him playing that well, they could have pulled today.
Well, we're going to keep that on the back of our minds as we move forward and look at more contenders throughout the day. However, we are going to have a short 5-minute break, and when we return, Tainted Minds will be taking on Legs Are Silly.